Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. Coming up on today's show, learn beekeeping techniques from our youth. Plus, a quick stop at the Island Traffic Authority. Don't go anywhere. All this and more when we return.
Sign with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sign with me.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, April 1, 2022. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, is officially reporting that the country recorded a 6.7% growth outturn for the October to December quarter of 2021 as the island continues to rebound from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a 1.4% increase over the July to September period and the sixth consecutive quarter of growth since a 15.6% decline in the June 2020 quarter. Statin gave the updated report in a statement on Thursday. The agency says the expansion in economic activity for the review period was driven by growth of 9% in the services industry and 0.5% for the goods-producing industry. For the services industry, the top performers were hotels and restaurants, wholesale and retail trade, repairs, installation of machinery and equipment, transport, storage and communication, and other services. Within the goods-producing industry, there were higher outputs for agriculture, forestry and fishing, and construction. According to Statin, the economy was positively impacted by the relaxation of some COVID-19 measures, including the easing of global travel restrictions and reduced curfew hours. Preliminary estimates for the 2021 calendar year show that the economy grew by 4.6%. The Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, and the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, are partnering to give small businesses greater access to capital. The two entities recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to enable micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, that are members of the JMEA to list on the junior equities market. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Senator Aubin Hill has endorsed the move, which he says is important for enterprise development and economic growth. In light of conditions such as the war in Ukraine and rising prices for commodities such as fuel, fertilizer, and food, the minister says businesses must now look locally and regionally to provide products that would normally be imported from farther afield. Managing Director of the JSE, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, says that through the MOU, it is expected to have over 100 companies listed on the junior market in short order. Dr. Street Forrest says all companies that have come to market have been oversubscribed, which is a reflection of market liquidity, adding that the best time for any company wanting to list is now. 3 UN agencies and the Ministry of Labour and Social Security have launched a new intervention to lessen the impact of COVID-19 on the most vulnerable and enhance Jamaica's social protection system to better respond to future shocks. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, the United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, UN Women, and the World Food Programme will be implementing the $1.1 million joint program. It's called the Modernization of the Social Protection Systems in Jamaica towards an adaptive, shock-responsive, inclusive system. According to a statement from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the joint program will introduce tools to better identify persons who face acute socioeconomic challenges due to major shocks such as pandemics and disasters. It will also strengthen government's mechanisms and systems for providing support to these persons. A key innovation will be the piloting of electronic payments to enable more efficient and faster payments, particularly to persons with disabilities. United Nations Resident Coordinator Dr. Gary Conneal says the joint program will help enhance Jamaica's rainy day protection, especially for female-headed households and women working in the informal sector and families with children and people with disabilities. It's being implemented in the context of global evidence showing that vulnerable groups are disproportionately bearing the burden of the health and socio-economic impacts of the COVID-19 crisis, particularly women and persons living in poverty. Minister of Labour and Social Security Carl Samuda says the initiative marks another important milestone in accelerating Jamaica's efforts to become a more inclusive and socially adaptable society. It is funded through the Small Island Developing States SIDS grant funding initiative. 30 schools will benefit from an energy efficiency and solar pilot project to reduce electricity costs by 40 to 70%. The school's energy efficiency and solar pilot project is a public-private partnership to be implemented by the Ministry of Education and Youth, the National Education Trust, NET, and Canada-based renewable energy company Roswell Development, Inc. The parties signed a contract at the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, in Kingston on March 29. Education Minister Fable Williams says the pilot project is in line with government's focus on incorporating solar power as part of its thrust to enhance energy security in the country.
We certainly will be encouraging our schools that are a part of this project to treat it with seriousness and at the same time to work with other public education institutions to adopt and implement measures that will reduce their electricity bills.
Managing Director of Roswell Development, Inc., Daniel Roscoe, says that in taking on this project, Jamaica can lead the Caribbean in a new way.
Jamaica has succeeded where others have failed, and now has the opportunity to lead the Caribbean in a new way to manage energy. Financed energy retrofits help reduce the cost of energy, help improve the efficiency of the use of that energy, and help make infrastructure more resilient in the face of climate change.
The Energy Efficiency and Solar Pilot Project was developed through a partnership involving the Development Bank of Jamaica, the Ministries of Finance and Science, Energy and Technology, and the Attorney General's Chambers. Starting today, the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA, will take over the management of the St. Joseph's Hospital in St. Andrew. This transfer follows a cabinet approval in January 2021 for the Ministry of Health and Wellness to hand over the management of the facility to SERA. The Regional Health Authority will be responsible for the management and operations of the hospital in keeping with the provisions of the National Health Services Act. According to a statement from SERA, the transition is part of the ministry's objective of delivering client-centered, efficient, and accessible health care. As a result, the hospital will be redeveloped as a center of excellence in oncology and nephrology, operating as an extension of the Kingston Public Hospital. This will see the phased relocation of certain oncology, nephrology, and ambulatory services from the Kingston Public Hospital to St. Joseph's. In the meantime, the hospital will continue to operate as a permanent COVID-19 vaccination site and provide urgent care services. SERA says there will be no impact on the delivery of radiotherapy services at the National Cancer Treatment Center, which is located on the hospital compound. And finally, persons are being warned that it is illegal to work as a nutritionist if you are not registered with the Council of Professions Supplementary to Medicine. Regional dietitian at the Western Regional Health Authority, Dr. Rosalie Brown, gave the warning as she addressed the JIS think tank at its Montego Bay office recently. She says it is also important to note that there are different training requirements for dietitians versus nutritionists.
But what is most important, it's not just having that basic training at a university level. They must be registered with the legal counsel in Jamaica. So we'll have many Jamaicans who have basic training and they're going around saying they're nutritionists. It is illegal unless they are licensed with the Council of Professions Supplementary to Medicine.
The JIS think tank was held to highlight the Jamaica Association of Professionals in Nutrition and Dietetics, JAPINAD's 20th anniversary being celebrated all year. JAPINAD is a non-profit professional organization that represents all practitioners in the field of dietetics and nutrition. Its members are employed largely to the Ministries of Health and Education, tertiary institutions, and in the private sector. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's #1 industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attractions, entertainment, transportation, and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe. Get vaccinated.
It ends tomorrow, but today we're still celebrating Maths Week. There is one main thing to remember about this observation, and it's that all students are capable of doing maths and doing it well. Know what else our young people are capable of? Let's watch to find out.
Me and my sister got started when we were very young. I think I was 6 or something around that age. And my mom had 4 hives. And that is the beginning of success.
The name of our family business is Maccabee Enterprise. Here at Maccabee Enterprise, we are all beekeepers, down to my 9-year-old sister, Camila.
Working with the bees is nice. It's less challenging than back in the days. Don't want to sound too old. It is fun now. I am more confident. Yeah. It is calming, soothing. Takes you out of this world, bring in another. So it's fun. It's actually fun. My role here on the farm is using an extractor. To extract honey, there are many ways. I will be explaining 2 ways. First is the professional method, where you use an extractor. So you have a capping knife, a knife with like a serrated edge, and you would uncap, which is a thin sheet of wax on top of the comb with the honey inside. So it's like a seal. So you use a knife and uncap that. Then you put it in the extractor and spin it, and it would flash out on the side of the extractor and drain to the bottom, and then you leak it out into a bucket. The other way is, well, when you don't have an extractor, is that you would use a capping fork, or you could use a regular fork, and you would hold the frame like this, long way, and you'd use the fork and gently scrape the frame. So you're taking off the comb, you're removing the comb from the frame in a sense, but you'd have on the frame there is a sheet of wax that we would put on as beekeepers, foundation. So it would guide the bees, to build more small cells that would get more workers in the hive.
From the bees, we get 5 main products, right? We have pollen, propolis, beeswax, honey, and royal jelly. So based on those 5 things, we actually think about what we can do with those 5 things. So in beekeeping, we actually have honey flow periods and we have dirt season. Those are the 2 main periods. In between, we have like a pre-flow and pre-dirt basically. But okay, so in our honey season, that's the time when they're on production. They're bringing in their honey, their pollen, everything on top. But for like in St. Thomas, there is like a 6-month period where there's dirt. There's no honey coming, no much honey that we can reap. There's just enough for them to have for them to feed themselves and their babies and be able to stay alive. In the dirt period, when there's not enough honey for us to harvest and be able to sell, we do things like remove our old combs and boil it out, and we get wax. With the wax, we do like the body butters, we do candles, lip conditioner. So that's the wax. With the pollen, we actually collect the pollen, and the pollen is a very good multivitamins. So we actually collect the pollen and dry it and package it for sale. For the royal jelly, we don't do a lot of work with the royal jelly. As we go along, we are actually developing products. So for the royal jelly right now, we put it in our honey wine. And then again, the honey wine is made from honey. My involvement in making the byproducts are production. I do most of the labels. I have help, so I can't take all the credit, but most of the labels are from me. I do social media marketing, so most of the WhatsApp texts, Instagram, they might mostly be from me. My younger siblings' involvement in the business is some help with the production, so there is some small things like shredding the wax that they can do. They help with the bees as well, because we're homeschool and we kind of tag along with our parents right through and through. So with the bees and with production. And my younger sister, she's very artistic. So when I'm actually doing the labels, sometimes she would draw this beautiful picture and I would actually use that as part of the label.
I have 4 personal hives for myself. I have 3 long struts, which is the regular kind of box that you would see that holds 10 frame, and they would stack on one on top of the other. And I have 1 top bar, which is a 30 frame box, which goes a long way. And it only has a top bar. It doesn't have the top bar with the square. It doesn't have a frame. It's just the top bar. My advice to other youth interested in beekeeping is you have to be persistent, and you have to be confident, and you have to be committed to beekeeping.
Beekeeping can be very wide. You don't have to just stuck with the bees, the sting, the honey. There is so much more that you can do. You can do candles. There is actually a shortage of beeswax candles. And beeswax candles are very easy. You mold, you wick, your color if you need, and you're done. Lip conditioner is another easy one. And if you go online, just take some of your time out of your texting and just research some products that you can actually do from the products that you get from the bees. The 5 products I mentioned, there's so much more.
I really hope that those who are listening to my voice will take an introspection of themselves and check out how they have been operating the motorcycle. Are you operating with a helmet, an elbow pad, a knee pad, a jacket, a shoulder pad? Are you wearing shoes instead of slippers? Have you removed the mirrors from the motorcycles? Obedience better than sacrifice. Do the right thing. Are you going to ensure that you buckle up in the motor vehicle and the persons in the motor vehicle behind your back, your passengers, are they buckled up? Are you going to ensure that? Are you going to give yourself adequate time to reach your destination so that you don't have to be in any haste, so that you don't help to clog up the health sector? Nobody should be going to the hospitals because of traffic crashes. Nobody. They are preventable, they are avoidable. We can make better choice than that.
Are you tired of riding the bus or squeezing beside others in a taxi? Well, let's learn how you can get a driver's license and taking the wheels into your own hands.
So, you've acquired your provisional or learner's driver's license, and the next step is getting the real deal. Well, the process for getting each is a bit different, but nonetheless very achievable.
Now, the fundamental difference between the provisional and the driver's license now is that with the driver's license you can drive by yourself, but with the provisional, an instructor have to be there with you, must be there with you at all times. Somebody who have a driver's license must be with you. So once you acquire the driver's license now, you can drive on your own.
But before we go in to get this piece of document, we must have an idea of the type of license that we're applying for. Here in Jamaica, there are 3 categories available: a motorcycle license, a private license for motor cars only, and a general license, which is for any vehicle including motorcycles and public passenger vehicles. Now it's time to head to an Island Traffic Authority depot. But don't leave these important documents: a completed driver's license application form, signed by a justice of the peace or a notary public, the examination fee receipt, your provisional driver's license or learner's permit, and 3 passport-size photographs, also signed by a JP or notary public.
First step we need to do is that we must be successful in the road code test, and we must acquire the provisional driver's license. Now, when you would have gone to your instructor, right? Your instructor would then decide when you are ready to go and do the test. You should prepare yourself for 3 things: the written test, the yard test, and the road test. You need to know how to navigate that motor vehicle, right, safely without hitting down anyone. So you need to be in control of the vehicle, right? Know when to brake, know when to gas, know when to turn, etc. Ensure that you know your road code, right? Know your road signs, know your road markings, know the responsibility of drivers, know the responsibility of other road users. Understand what the road marking signs mean, the white line mean, and know what they mean, and obey them. So those things are very critical, right? So once you know these things, right, then you're ready to do the written test. The written test have to do with driving questions, driving issues.
It's mandatory for all applicants to complete this written test. Individuals are required to read a sentence, then complete the written test where the knowledge of vehicle mechanics will be tested for general license applicants.
And after you have passed the written test, then we take it to the yard test.
During the yard test, applicants' ability to start on a gradient or hill, parallel park, and reverse will be assessed.
So there, so now you learn hill start. Your instructor should teach you hill start, how to start on the hill, so you don't run back and create mayhem and crashing people behind you. So again, controlling the vehicle, very critical, right? So once you have done the hill start, you do the yard test, how you navigate navigate on the road network. Just as how you would have to navigate out there in the real world. So we put you in that control. It's a control environment, right? So we carry you through that navigatory process. Once you have exercised that safely, right, that is good. Another component of it is that we need to see a reversing skills. We want to see that reversing skill being executed, and we want it to be done safely without creating any imbalances in the traffic environment. Once you have completed the yard test, the yard operations, yes, then we can take you out to the road. Because you'd have proven to us that we must take you out to the road, right? Now once we have taken you out to the road now, we give you some instructions, and the instructions should be followed. Right? And you are assessed again. Once you have passed all 3 components, then a certificate of competence will be issued with respect to you. Now that certificate of competence now would then be used as the instrument that would allow you to access the technology of a driver's license. Right? And the tax office now would be the ones that would issue you with that card, allowing you to drive for that period of time. If you have not executed the components properly, you will then be required to come back, right, to do the components that you have failed. Right? So those things would have been documented, what you pass, and whatever you fail, you will be required to come back and do it.
And there you have it, the Island Traffic Authority's simple steps to help you achieve your very own driver's license.
What a way you full up our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only we have to celebrate it now. They say the people them you know them come here, you know. But you see when our people decide say the other people them free paper, oh no, them say if it's war, start it whatever. We all collect medal panta fight, you know. Medal. Amount of tongue we give them,
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
On site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
If you don't know the app to get the updates then.
Thank you for staying with us. We've come to the end of our program. Get a recap of all you saw here and more on our YouTube channel. Also, feel free to visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for news you can use. In the words of Ben Franklin, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.